is that she forgot to tell me the why. And so I knew it was fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and it made perfect sense, right? It's simple. It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Just swallow it, and it's in your body. But my children resisted it because 3 of our 4 children had asthma, allergies, and a variety of conditions, that secondary infections that go along with that. They were on Allegra Singular Flonase albuterol inhalers. We had the nebulizer. They sent the machine home with us from Children's Mercy, I think so long ago before that was even probably common practice, because they got sick of seeing me, with 3 of them back and forth to the city. So we just thought it was a normal part of it. Not one person ever said to me, not one doctor, no one ever said that it might be a weakened immune system, right? So I just thought we had to live with it, and we did. We also had tons of over-counter medicines that my kids were on. And we had 2 drawers in my kitchen. When guests come to your house and they're looking for silverware, you're like, no. And then they open it and they're like, oh, I know my kids are sick of them. I got the OTCs and the prescriptions and all that stuff. And because they were all really good athletes, we had, the competitive volleyball bags and the basketball bags and all the junk that went in, and everybody had to have an inhaler in all those different bags. So it was just common. I know a lot of people have the same situation here. And so my kids said, no, Ma, we don't want to take another pill. And because that's what I thought it was too. And my husband gave me a lot of grief about this money I just spent, because he said, oh, that stuff doesn't even work. So we stopped taking it. And I called the Juice Plus company and I canceled my order. And about a year later, I was in a Bible study with an unbelievable friend of mine, Susan Snodgrass. At the time, I didn't know her, but we agreed to go to lunch one day, and she said, do you work outside the home? And I said, no, I'm just like a professional volunteer at school and church, and I run kids everywhere. And I said, how about you? And she said, oh, I'm a Juice Plus distributor. And she said it so proudly, and I went, oh my gosh, I got that junk piled up in my closet at home. And she said, why? Get to taking it. And I said, well, my kids don't want to take it. And she said, Shelly, you tell them that if they don't take it tonight, you're going to put everything that's listed on that on the table. Guess what they all started taking? Thank you, Susan Snodgrass. It's good. So it was just fabulous. I opened up my mind to it, and she opened up her mouth to me, right? And got really bold about it. And so she was even more gracious. She said, you know what? When that huge supply dwindles down, give me a call and we'll get you set up as a customer. And so I said, okay. And that's what it was. And about a year later, we were at the doctor, and he wanted to write all the scripts for all those medicines for the 3 different children. And I said, have you ever to tell your doctor you're not taking meds? I was like, we don't need those anymore. And he was like, what? And I said, well, we really don't need those anymore. I think they outgrew them. And you hear that, don't you? And my doctor looked at me, and because I didn't care the reason. I just knew we weren't taking those anymore. And he said, Shelly, there's no way that your 17-year-old, your 13-year-old, and your 10-year-old outgrew at the exact same time. I said, you're right. Okay, but I don't care anyway. And he said, well, I care. What was it? You did something different in their diet. How about you said that to me? And I said, no. Oh, we don't use white flour anymore. He's like, it's not the flour. We get around to it, it's the Juice Plus, right? And he said, oh, of course, that's it. I'm like, you knew that? And my kids were doing all these drugs that, I'm probably going to see a commercial. If your child was on Allegra for more than 2 years, your grandchildren will have purple hair. Seriously, it was so not necessary. But you know what? Just like Dr. Paul Williams said today, that he didn't know any better. He really didn't know any better. He knows now. Guess what he treats his patients with? He prescribes Juice Plus to his patients. That's awesome. So So my husband was another story. My husband, for the first 5 years that we took Juice Plus, even with these miraculous things with our 3 children before, right? He called it snake oil. I literally hid the orders when they came each month because I didn't want to hear about it from him. He said, there is no way that you'll ever convince me because I don't take pills, is this big thing. And I said, well, hey, Mark, how do you explain their allergies are gone? Well, I think it was just a fluke. I said, okay, fluke. Well, we're going to keep fluking it, and you keep doing what you're doing. And 5 years ago, he got diagnosed with a hyperactive thyroid, and the internist said we have to radiate it out immediately. So he came home, and I told him, well, I would get a second opinion. And when he went to the endocrinologist for a second opinion, same exact thing. He came home, he said they want to radiate it out. And I said, well, Mr. I don't take pills. Guess what you're going to be on for the rest of your life to keep you alive? And you better hope I don't get mad at you and hide your meds, right? Well, I did say that. I was because I was upset that he wasn't listening to me. He wasn't listening, and I knew what I knew. You know, I wasn't a doctor. I'm not an endocrinologist. I know nothing about the thyroid. I didn't even know what the word was until he was diagnosed. Except that a year and a half before, I was ultra confident because the exact same thing happened to my mother, and she was in her mid-70s. And the same deal. She lived about an hour and a half from us, and the doctors told her the same thing. But I had heard back when Susan first introduced me to Juice Plus, as a customer, she took me to hear a really radical doctor speak in Kansas City. I know you know who I'm talking about. She's very radical, but she made a very strong impression on me because she yelled at this man and said, oh, that's unfortunate. Your wife had her thyroid removed. Don't ever get your thyroid removed. So I was like, oh my gosh, don't get your thyroid removed. So that's what I told my husband. I heard a doctor speak at Juice Plus, and they said, don't get your thyroid removed. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? And I said, well, I get to taking that snake oil over there on the counter. So guess what he did? He said, what do I do? This is before I knew. I was not telling anybody about Juice Plus, and I didn't even know about Complete back then. So I just put him on 6 capsules. And in those days, do you remember this? Take 2 fruits in the morning, 2 vineyards at lunch, and 2 greens for dinner. Right? I love what Dr. Madre says. Slam them. Just get them in your body, right? I don't care how you get them in there, just get them in there. So we know what we do. We wake up in the morning. The first thing everyone in my family does, slam 6 capsules and just gets it over. But anyway, so my husband started taking them, and he had the exact same results. And I never thought about this until I started telling my story just a few months ago, that exactly the 9-week mark, at 9 weeks, because every 3 weeks he had his blood drawn. And my husband did not get on any medication. He threw me under the bus to the internist and told him my wife is going to treat me alternatively.
Nice.
Keep in mind, this is my internist too, right? Of 22 years. So anyway, Mark got on it, and lo and behold, at 9 weeks, his thyroid was totally normal. He gained back 10 of his 12 pounds. And in December, which was 5 years ago, this past December, just a month ago, he was released in a letter from our doctor, and he said that there was no possible way that fruits and vegetables in a capsule could possibly help sustain the thyroid, and that he fully expected to see my husband back in 6 months. Well, guess what? 5 years later, and 7 years later on my mom, no thyroid condition with either one of those 2. I don't know the science behind that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I just know what happened to my family. Okay, 2 more quick stories. I had migraines, and so did my one daughter that didn't have the allergies. And over the past several years, they just went away. They just went away. Can't explain it, right? So, despite all these amazing stories I'm telling you, these are texts. Does this sound amazing? Yeah, guess what I didn't do? Tell anyone. And guess what I told poor Susan Snodgrass? I will sign up as a distributor because I got one girlfriend to take the product. She owned an athletic club, and she was the only person I knew that ate healthy. I mean, really healthy. And so one day I asked her, Leslie, how many fruits and vegetables do you get in your body every day? Because you're so amazing. She's like, oh, it's hard to get, maybe 5 to 7. And I'm like, well, how would you like to get, like at the time it was, I think, what is it? It's 30 now, but I don't think it was that many then. Was it 20 something, 26 or something? And she said, oh yeah, I want to do that. So I said, well, we'll both be distributors, but we're not going to tell anybody about it. We're just going to get our product cheaper, right? So we informed that to Susan, that I'm never, ever going to share Juice Plus with anyone. I know, she says I told you so all the time. So, fast forward, and I decided that I was just what Wendy Campbell says, just a raving customer, because that's really what I was. I was just a raving customer. And so, Susan invited me to so many events. Any other person would have given up on me. But she always used to say to me, oh, you're this darker, younger version of Wendy Campbell, and if you ever catch the vision, and I'd be like, I don't know who this Wendy Campbell gal is, but I'm not telling people about Juice Plus. And then a year ago, September, there was a fall conference, Kansas City Regional, Jason LaChance and Stacy Joy from California. And Susan called and invited me, and I just felt so bad about saying no one more time. Plus, that spring I turned 52, and my dad died of colon cancer at age 57. And so I started thinking about 5 years from now, I could be my dad, and I could be gone. And my dad didn't get to see me get married. He never met my killer children. He didn't meet any of my family. And I didn't want that to happen to me. So I started going to some educational classes that weren't Juice Plus related and really diving into nutrition and disease. And all of a sudden I'm going, oh my gosh, that's what I'm taking. I'm taking the best thing that you could be taking. So when Susan invited me, I said, okay, I'll go. But I wasn't going to go by myself. So I begged a daughter to come home from college, and I bribed her with a really nice dinner. And she recruited another girlfriend from a different college to come, and we'd go to dinner right after this 1 hour of pain they thought it was going to be. But Stacy Joy, do y'all remember? I mean, she is so chill. She's just California. One small thing. There you go. She wrote the book, that little tiny baby book, One Small Thing. And she's just chill. And we were like this. Loved her. Really impacted us so much that when we were at dinner, the girl said, you want to go back to that training tomorrow morning? I'm like, oh, sure. Okay, we'll go back. So we went back, and they gave away 5 conference tickets. Christy Vogelsworth, bless her heart. 2 of the 5 went to my daughter and her friend. I told you God wrote this story. To Orlando. What? Next thing I know, we're booking tickets. My daughter, their college break, 3 days, was the same weekend for fall college break in Orlando. Well, guess what? We really weren't wanting to go for a Juice Plus convention, My sister lives on the beach there. So we said, oh my gosh, your dad won't know. We're really just using this to go to the beach. True. So my sister, I convinced her to come over, and she picked us up, and but guess what happened? We heard off the charts president that speaks with passion and wit and humor and the heart. And I'm sitting on the front row going, this is the company behind those capsules? And then just all those amazing NMB speeches. And actually, Susan poked me at one point because I had, my sister and these 2 kids with me. And I said something about MDMs or something. And she said, Shelly, it's national marketer, NMD. Like kind of act like you know what you're talking about. And Julie Mahajer gets up. I love a brunette because I'm always around all these blondes. I love you blondes, but not too many brunettes. So I was watching her, and her husband is standing there. Here's her husband that's used to being in the spotlight, right? And my daughter is cracking up. She pokes me, she goes, that would be Dad standing out there holding her plaque. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I'm nothing, in this business. So we go to the beach, and we can't get it out of our mind because all we can think about is Jeff Roberti and that closing with the Oliver Vine story. If you've never seen it, you have to YouTube the Oliver Vine story. It's so powerful. So when we left there, we were on the beach the whole time, like this. Well, we got to get back. We got a moral and ethical obligation now. Now I sound like Susan, right? So I get back, and I go in the gym to my one friend, right? I got my one friend, and I go, Leslie, we can't keep this a secret anymore. We got to tell people about this. This is unbelievable. And she said, Shelly, I don't have time. I'm a mom. I got a club to run. And I said, oh, I'll do it for you. Like I knew what I was doing and not. And back then, we called them presentations. And Susan said, oh, don't worry, just take your booklet, So I'm standing there like this. A year ago, November, on the 19th, it was my husband's birthday, and I told him, I'm sorry, but I have to go help people instead of celebrating my birthday. Really, it's true. It was the only time that worked out for my girlfriend. So we do our HLP, and we get 10 new, trio and complete customers. No, true. Guess why? Somebody there had an order form, and she said, well, this one's cheaper. And Susan called it the duo. I didn't even know it was called that. And I said, oh, yeah, I think this is an old order form because who would just take those two? You got to have the purples, too. The vineyards are powerful. I don't really know what they do for you, but I'm telling you, they do something. And so they all bought it. And then they were like, why the complete? And I go, because I do it because the company says that you should do it. So, really, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Now we know, like you heard John Blair last night, now you know, and Dr. Paul Williams, the powerful impact of those two, micronutrition and macronutrition. We've learned so much from Dr. Mitra Ray's video here in a little bit. I'll talk about that. So anyway, when I came back and I started that with Leslie, it was really about me opening my heart at this point. Because now I was going to really take a chance and go out there and talk to people. And people can slam the door on your heart and kind of hurt you, right? We call it ego, but really it's my heart that hurts because I want to help people so much. And so my husband, he didn't want me telling people about this because it might be embarrassing because it's one of those companies. And I said, no, honey, you're the CEO. You're running the pyramid company, not me. So it's true. I wasn't looking, is that not true? I was not looking for a mission. I was not looking for a hobby. I didn't need a purpose. I had my amazing family. I was very involved. But I knew I needed to do this. And I think that the reason why you're all here is because you know you need to do it. And maybe you need to do it on a bolder level now. So anyway, I remember Jane Martin said you didn't need to be the expert. You got the research, just go and share it. So that's exactly what we did. And sometime that week of January, we took the month of December off because I guess you can, right? Got lots of school plays, and we had 10 customers. We were on fire. And we thought, we really did. We thought we were on fire. And so January came about, and Jeannie Williams called me. She was my upline NMD. And she said, hi, Shelly. You guys know Jeannie. She's so sweet. Hi, Shelly. Are you going to boot camp this weekend? I said, no. Just like her. I got a wrestling tournament. And she said, oh, well, you really need to come. And I said, can you sell me on that? Because I really don't think. She said, Shelly, all NMDs go to boot camp. I said, okay, I'll be there. So I came. And I came here last year. It's my first time, right? And I drove down here by myself, and I sat at the table in awe. I mean, you know what these people do here, right? Don and Rodney, and all the volunteers that do it. I was like this. And Stacy Joy was here, and Jamie Quincy, and Julie Majer spoke, and Dr. Paul Williams spoke, and it was just fantastic. And Jason LaChance stood up here and said, on a white erase board, do you remember this? Write what you want to be by Phoenix and take a selfie. And I wrote, well, I was barely a sales coordinator. It was like a joke of a sales coordinator, right? And so I wrote SSC. I was one of the last people to do it over in the corner. And I was like, I didn't even know how to do a selfie. I had to have a girl help me. And I was going like that. And then I didn't show it to anybody because that's what a true selfie is when you keep it to yourself. Right? And so when I left here so empowered. I was driving home. I told my girlfriend, I looked down, I was driving 90. I was so excited. I was just like, I gotta get back. And when I got back, I immediately reached up and I said, can I get a call with that Wendy Campbell? You know, you think I act like her. Let me talk to her. So she got me on the call and I proceeded to tell Wendy. I'm all about the products and helping others, not about the business. And she was kind of quiet. She goes, yeah, you and 99% of everyone in this company. She goes, you know, I feel like your story is a lot like mine, so I think I can say this to you. You need to get over yourself.
Wendy.
I'm thinking, who is this woman in California? Right? But she was exactly right. The Lord knew I needed to hear that. That just because that wasn't what I needed didn't mean that that wasn't what other people needed, right? So I got over that really quick. And we started having events. Because what I realized was the 2 times we did it, in November and then January, we got customers. Woo! Novel idea. So I said, you guys, let me start hosting at my house. On Thursday nights, we'll have Thirsty Thursdays. That was from like an old bar business deal. You know, Thirsty Thursdays. We're going to have Thirsty for drink, water, wine, smoothies, Thirsty for health, whole food nutrition, Thirsty for wealth, business on fire. And so our, how am I, Dawn, am I? I'm 5 minutes over? Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, I'm fast forwarding. I used to tell my team, when you come, if you bring guests, great. And if no one shows up, that's okay. God wanted us to train, right? So we didn't care, but we did it every Thursday night, 7 to 8:30. And the first 15 minutes, you know, chitty chat, get everybody a drink, whatever they wanted to drink. And then we sat down, and it evolved over time. First, we watched Bridging the Gap. We watched Nutritionally Fit. And then I just told my story. That was how we started it. Until after we went to conference and that UK phenomenon. Are you kidding me? I was sitting there going, wow. I had 18 members with me. I thought we were really rocking it with 8, you know. And I said, well, it's fabulous they're doing this, but what's wrong with the US? Why are we not doing this? And so I just thought, it's just too hard the way I had been doing it. So I came back and I decided that we were really going to use that HLP, which I call the 500 plus, because we already called them HLPs. So Healthy Living Plan, Healthy Living Party got a little confusing for my team and me. Third grade teacher, remember? Keep it simple. So I called it 500 plus, turned into a 2000 plus. But we changed it up because I fluked upon a video on YouTube called Transform 30. Now, you can use lots of different things, right? Complete transformation, one simple change, HLR. I mean, look at these people. They're just rocking it. But I don't know if it's me or just whatever. I think I have to go big or go home. So I had to go really radical. So I was already kind of going that way anyway. And so we started emailing Bridging the Gap and Nutritionally Fit to them before our event. We got them to agree to watch that. Some did, some didn't, right? But at least you'd have the micronutrition and the macronutrition already kind of in their brain. So when they came, we immediately showed Dr. Mitra Ray's Transform 30. It's 23 minutes long. And we would show that because she did the perfect marriage of micro, macro, and the key word these days, detoxification, right? Love it. It's such an easy, simple tool for us anyway. So we use that. And it really came to fruition for us. People really responded to that because then we used the rest of the time to do what Jay Martin gave us permission to do at Phoenix, and he said, go tell your stories, right? So we used the rest of the time to tell our stories, and people just resonated with it. And then the last thing I'm going to talk to you real quick, I got two things, Dawn, sorry, is that when I use the word distributor, we noticed people shied away from it. They really did. And I might do a training with Wendy on this later, so don't get hung up or Vox me. I'm on Voxer Pro, just under Shelly Mackey. But we found that people like the idea of the family rebate. Because when somebody gets on the Transform 30, they're already getting Trio, probably a children's health study connected to it, and the complete protein, right? So it just made sense to say, gee, it's a direct sales, and I'm going to make commission, and my brother, you just get it. So for $50, you probably pay that to join a club like Sam's Club or Costco, right? But you're going to get money back on your product. And in the first 30 days, if there's just two people, just two, that you love or care about outside your home, which I know you do because we all tell everybody about the hairdresser and the nail lady and all that stuff. So just tell two people, your mom, your aunt. If you feel led to, the company's going to give you a $100 referral fee. And then after that, you're going to feel like you probably want to share it some more because the stories are amazing. And if you don't, that's good too. And so that's what we did. And it really worked out great. And that's how we did it from then on. In August of this year, I had 4 sales coordinators, and all 4 of them had fast tracked, and all 4 of them were in POB. And I said, "Oh, let's get to NMD next month. We hit Q this month." I mean, that doesn't happen, you know that. But whatever. So I tried, and we did not hit it. I did have someone that I signed on in August. She'd never even touched Juice Plus, and within 6 weeks, she was a sales coordinator, and within 3 months, she was a senior sales coordinator. And that is why when we went to conference, we had just missed NMD. And Wendy was worried about me. "Oh, I hope you won't stop." I'm like, what? I didn't get in this to be an NMD. I didn't get in this to have a business. I got in this to help people. So what? We'll hit it next conference. Who cares? But you know what? The Lord had another plan. I was thinking we'd hit it by January or February. A week later, we hit it. Yeah, October 31st. December, it's just amazing what my team did. And then December 31st, we were 18 club, and we're in our 20s this month. So it's working. Whatever we're doing, my team is amazing. They're just amazing. The last thing I want to end with is that we have 4 websites. Our go-tos are campbellteam.net. Our second one is teamjp.net. I know Julie's got another one, but that's still so full of great information. Julie Herbst is amazing. Our jpvf.info. Wowzer, anything about the business, just like you said, Rhonda. Don Rathmans, you got to go to it. It's amazing. And then, as my oldest daughter calls her to me, my girl crush, Dr. Mitra Ray. I already confessed to her this morning, so don't judge me. And then the latest, the carefunnel.com. Amazing, carefunnel.com. I asked my husband, who's CEO of a company, why he believes from a business perspective, because he's all business, our team grew so quickly. And this is what he said. "I never saw you focus on the business, but watched you lead by example, and you were transparent about your belief in the product, your healthy lifestyle, your love of Christ, your desire to help and inspire others. You and the Juice Plus company are like peas and carrots." And he said, no pun intended. So, in closing, I'm going to encourage you to step outside your box, dare, care, and share. Dare to open your mind. Just open it up. Care enough to open your heart and share with others. Share by opening your mouth, because that's where it all starts, right? And Nike says, just do it. And I say, just open up. Thank you so much.